Salutations, humans. And there is an impostor. Syndrome person who feels really bad about not having posted for an entire month despite having completely valid reasons for doing so among us. And unlike the game Among Us, I think, the video is getting a part 2 and probably 3 and 4. So here's some more Among Us hats because why settle for 10 when you can have 15? Get a compass, or if you're like me and broke it within 2 days of owning it, make a paper one by stabbing 2 holes in a strip of paper. Draw a giant semicircle on a piece of bond paper and cut it out. Roll and glue it together into a cone like I show here, and it's okay if there's a hole in the middle because we'll deal with that later. I have no idea what the hat actually says, so that's what I wrote on the hat with yellow marker and then I ran out of space. Then to make a pom-pom, you can either use yarn or yellow paper like me. I cut a long strip of spiky spikes like you see here. Then I took that strip and I crumpled it up like whatever you see here. If you notice, I use that phrase a lot because explaining is hard. After that, I arranged the spikes to make it look like I put in more effort than I actually did. Then depending on your preference, you can either cover the hole or insert it in the hole and secure it with your finally working hot glue gun, except I can't show it because the plug is really far away. And now, the party hat is done. Now to attach it to my head, I used tape. And you guessed it, just like last video, I still can't see anything. Like some failed test papers, I still can't stop thinking about the fact that I tested 4 different spellings of conscience and I still got it wrong. Actually, the time spelling isosceles was worse. Now, take out all your anger on these papers by crumpling them up, then strategically crumple them up to form some kind of crewmate shape. Actually, that's a lie. I never had a strategy when doing this. The strategy is to scrunch up the paper and hope for the best. And as you can see here, you may need to use tape. Actually, you probably should use tape. Then here, I'm squishing the paper thing on the floor to get a flat, or maybe it's better to squish it on a ball since I'm pretty sure you don't have a flat head. Unless you're a screwdriver watching this, in which case I'm pretty sure you have a flat head. But what if you're a Phillips screwdriver? Wait, why are you watching this? You're a screwdriver! Now, as you can see here, I'm smoothing out the shape with more paper and tape. Also, just a question, does my voice sound different? I'm recording in a different place. Here, I'm using a hair tie to hold it in place while I tape it. I don't know how relevant that instruction is, but that's what I did. Imagine if I said that in every tutorial. I don't know how relevant this instruction is. Here, I'm using more tape to reinforce the bottom. Then I'm just cutting off the extra to make it look less like paper and more like, paper mache it with some glue and kitchen toilet paper. Wait, there's no toilet in the kitchen. Kitchen toilet paper, no. Sink paper? When you're done, it should look something like this. Then lastly, I took some plain paper, cut it into an oval, added a blue outline, and stuck it on the white thing. To attach it to your head, tape. You know, if you think about it, this snow hat is kind of like a crewmate that couldn't afford a child, so they made themselves one out of snow to give themselves a deluded sense of companionship and love. On to the next hat. Step 1 is to go to your local grocery or convenience store. Just kidding. I don't have enough materials right now, so I'll show you how to do it in tiny version, then you can just make it bigger. Unless you're like 6 inches tall, then I guess. Get some cardboard and cut it. Oh yeah, look, I finally found my cute cutter after 3 months of being lost. Anyway, you should have 2 shapes like this, then you can either paint it yellow or glue it onto some yellow paper. Glue it like I show here, and if you wanna reinforce it, you could also add tape. Cut it out, and you can also cover the other side if you're extra like that. Fold it over, and stuff. Wow, look, it's standing! Lastly, take a marker and stare at it for an extended period of time because you're too nervous to draw anything. Now do your best to draw the design without messing up. Now obviously I can't model it because it looks stupid, but you know who can model it? The cute snow baby, of course. And when it eventually melts and dies, the wet floor sign would be wonderful for this. Get some green fabric. Then do a bunch of cutting and folding and cutting and cut it into a circle that's an octagon. Cut it into a circle. Then using either a mechanical sewing machine or a human sewing machine, sew a basting stitch all the way around. Then take the loose end and pull and bunch up the fabric like I show here. Keep pulling and distributing the bunches until the hat is the size of your head, then you can lock the stitch. Now take some yellow felt and cut it into a long strip, or maybe you can use ribbon if you have that. Then sew or glue it over the edge of the hat. To make the visor, get some green felt and let's pretend they're the same color. Trace something with the visor, and when you take it off, you may realize you forgot to check if the pen had ink. Remember to also trace the inside curve. Cut it out like this, then cut slits up to the curve like I show here. Now we're gonna attach it. Simply sew or glue the tabs under the hat, and it should look something like this. Here's what the outside looks like. Oh, Dendrite Excel! Lastly, cut out this shape, layer on another color because you're extra, and glue it on, but I got too scared to glue, so I used tape. Now when you put it on, you may realize that you forgot to account for the fact that you were going to style your hair in a way that makes your head measurement much bigger than it normally is. Now I will show you how my mom made my Jay from Ninjago costume from when I was 8 years old. Get a giant shirt. Put it over your head. Align the hole to where your eyes would be if you weren't wearing a completely opaque mask that restricts your vision. Take the sleeves and tie it behind your head as you slowly lose your will to make this video because you can't see what you're doing. If there's a tag, hide it because it makes you look even less threatening than you already look. Attempt to make it look decent until you realize that never mind, it will never look decent. Sorry to disappoint you, human that asked for a ninja hat. Hey! Hope you enjoyed that mediocre video. Now for those of you who are for some reason wondering why I haven't posted for an entire month, well the answer's simple. I was working on a Himiko Toga video and you'd think it would be easy since I was simply repairing an already finished costume, but no! It turned out to be even harder than emailing your teacher about a test you missed because you were sick. Oh yeah, I also got sick. Don't worry, it wasn't that certain virus, it was simply an effect of my constantly fluctuating circadian rhythm. Then after I got well, my family and I yeeted ourselves out of that cement box, most people call it a house, and into this new cement box, which means there's this materials. But don't worry, this still came with me. Now that I finally seem to be settled down, should you be expecting a normal amount of videos again? Well, as a wise proverb says, hope for the best, but expect the worst. Farewell humans, let's hope I see you again in 2 weeks.